Welcome to another stream, guys. It's the day after, guys. It's the day after since Tesla just brought us unbelievable numbers on every level, just unbelievable numbers, okay? I really welcome everybody who want to know my detailed opinion into the Tesla presentation of Q3. It's very, very interesting, and there is some very interesting, let's say, tweets out there as well. Okay, let's have a look what, for example, Shamas Palihapitiya, a big Tesla investor and chairman of Virgin Galactic, said about the numbers. He just tweeted, ha ha ha, and then hashtag Tesla Q, which means, those are the guys who are actually betting against Tesla, so the short sellers, okay? On the other side, we have also Ross Gerber, also big supporter of Tesla, and he said, beside other multiple Twitters out there and tweets out there, he said, listening to the conference call now, having gone through Tesla's numbers in detail now, this is the best report in their history on every level, and this is just the beginning. So, as you can see, very big investors are very happy with the current situation, right? So this is something that I recognize, obviously, all over the internet, and I don't want to get in all those details. I made enough Tesla Q3 content, and as you know, you can have a look here as well, Tesla Q3 earnings with a special guest yesterday. So if you haven't seen it, make sure to check that out. Moreover, make sure also to have this summary known, so you are seeing that the EPS was totally another level, 67 cents versus 57 cents expected, so a huge beat here on these numbers. Then we are having the revenue 8.77 billion versus 8.36 billion. Obviously also here much better numbers, and also we are having an amazing net income of 331 million, while you have to understand that the net income non-GAAP, which are the general accounting rules, is much bigger, okay? But we will get into that, and obviously we had record deliveries as well in this quarter. Make sure, guys, to let me know from where you are watching from, but definitely, Elon Musk is dancing after this earnings call. We mean, it was such an amazing earnings call. It is really interesting what the guys just performed over the last 3 months, and I can imagine that he is absolutely happy with the result, and he said it many times in the earnings call. So I think it's unbelievable great to see this success. Now, what I wanted to do with you right now, first, let's have a look what the stock is doing, because the stock is not really performing that well. It started yesterday after the earnings with plus 4%, went down to 2%. It started quite nicely in the day with 440 or 438, and then it fall just to about 426, where we are since then in a sideways position. It's there's 3 reasons, okay, why the stock doesn't go that high, because of and I did a video on my second channel, so you should just check out my second channel as well, link in the description. I made a 6-minute video just to the point why the stock is not going up, and there are 3 reasons which I explained there in this video. It's basically, first, the overall market, which is not really going in either direction, and the second thing is the overall analysts' opinions on the quarter, where mainly they say the valuation is very high already, so they are not willing to put that much of a crazy new target on Tesla stock. And third is it's just a technical perspective. So, but if you want to know more about that, make sure to check out my second channel, and there there's a video about that only. Now, if we are looking into the chart of Tesla, the last couple of days were a little bit negative. I think this was the biggest losing streak for Tesla stock since a couple of months, and therefore I think that it's time to turn right now, right? It's I think with the market going in the other direction or giving us some impulses that we can go higher, then also Tesla stock will absolutely go with the storm. And make sure to smash that like button because this is obviously helping the stream and the channel. And there's a couple of guys here in the chat that I want to welcome. So we have people from Colorado, Netherlands, Belfast, Netherlands. We have people from Italy. We have people from where are you guys from? California, Netherlands, and Singapore. Okay, so many people out there. There's people asking, what about thoughts on buying Zoom? I think, it's very interesting company and obviously very strong, in the health crisis, but is it already not, well priced for what's going on? And if we will have a recovery of the economy and people will still use Zoom, obviously, but will use it less, then I think, it can turn to the other side as well. And people from Hawaii as well, and Dubai. So as you can see, very, very international right now, without any further ado, I would say let's jump into the Q3 earnings. And I love these presentations, okay? I don't know about you, but I love really the brand new presentations that are nice, to the point, nice summary, very clean, to the point, with some nice pictures about their developments in their factories. So I think that's absolutely interesting to see that this is something that is really well done here by the Tesla team. So let's have a look. So cash increased mainly because of a $5 billion increase and capital rise on the market when the stock went absolutely nuts. So the total position ending Q3 is $14.5 billion with, they can do a lot with this money. The positive free cash flow is $1.4 billion, also fantastic, guys. And in my personal opinion, this is the most important part, okay? So we had 874 million non-GAAP net income. So this is the profit that they did already, so almost $1 billion profit. But this is before they took, obviously, the stock compensation package of Elon Musk that he really, really deserved, right? And then we had the GAAP income of 331. Still amazing. So further than that, record vehicles, deliveries, profitability, free cash flow, all of this was absolutely record. The operation margin doubled from the last time. So I think that's just insane, guys. And you see the beauty about Tesla now is that, it seems that with building more and more cars, they can really leverage the overall situation and say, okay, we can produce much more cars, and they are mentioning it also in the report that they want to really be more cost effective, being more productive, increasing the profitability. And as you can see, it's really, really working, which is amazing, right? I mean, think about it that Tesla, for example, has a profitability of the or gross margin on the cars around, I think we will have a look in a second, about 25, 27, while traditional car makers have only 5. Can you imagine? 5 times the gross margin that the usual car manufacturer has for its cars. This is absolutely insane, okay? So further than that, I think that it's very interesting what they wrote here, okay? So obviously there's a lot of what they achieved and the summary, but I think that it's now the important sentence that you will see here is we are focusing on the next phase of growth. So when you think about this report, you think like this report is absolutely insane and the growth is insane and the growth is really, really fantastic. they are just saying we are entering and focusing on the next phase of the growth. So this is just the beginning. So this is amazing, which means, you know, the Model Y in the Fremont factory, the Model Y in Shanghai, you know, the Gigafactory in Berlin coming live soon. Texas is being built. So as you can see, there's a lot of drivers for further growth for Tesla, and this is what I love about Tesla. And you know, we are seeing that there's continuous growing interest in our car storage and solar products. In the earnings call, they even said that they are basically fully booked for the energy business until 2023. So can you imagine that they really need to ramp up the battery production? And with the new cells, it's a very important step to further grow for this company. Yeah, let's talk some numbers here. So first of all, you are seeing here automotive revenues year over year 40%. This is the magic number of Tesla, you know, 50% growth year over year in the revenue of the automotive. And this is nicely that you can see here that the regulatory credits are actually being lower than last quarter, okay? So you can see here quarter over quarter, we had less credits. So while they still increased the price of the credits because they said there's so much demand, but still made less money, which is fantastic, right? Because this means that their main business is doing so great that they are actually doesn't even need this credits to be profitable. Still, you know, it's an interesting part of the business when you can make some extra cash. And year over year, this credits obviously, you know, was fantastic because the credits just started in 2019, so it's a huge increase here. And the automotive gross margin is just insane, okay? We are seeing here numbers that are crazy fantastic. This is obviously due to the ramp up of the Model Y, and the Model Y are obviously sold first the most expensive models, so you can see a really nice gross margin here, 27.7 per car. On average. This is insane, guys. Okay, so much profit on each car that rolls out off a Gigafactory. That's absolutely insane. So I think those numbers are really, really important. The revenue total growth 40% year over year. There you have the 50% growth. You have the total gross profit rose even 73%, which is absolutely insane. So further than that, free cash flow was obviously very, very positive with a year over year gain of more than 200%. Oh, sorry, you don't see it. Let me just put myself somewhere here. So as you can see here, a 276% gain in the free cash flow, and also quarter over quarter more than 234%, which is insane. And also the cash and cash equivalents. But again, this was because of the capital raise of $5 billion. Obviously, they are having this fantastic numbers. Now, let me put myself here back to place. And then let's have a look what they are writing here. Obviously, they are saying, you know, the revenue grow, which was fantastic. Profitability was insane with the 9.2 operating margin, which is, you know, the total margin of the business, how profitable it is with all the administration. And one more thing, guys, I want to show it to you here. The operation expenses just went up by 35%, while the overall revenues grew by 40%. So this is very interesting. So it's not like correlated that you see, okay, we are growing, you know, 40-50% and still need to have the expenses going up. And this is, you know, the magic number, because this at some point, the operating expenses are at some point, right, they are still building 3 factories, guys, here, the extension of the Model Y factory in Shanghai, then the Berlin one, and the Texas one. So you can see here it's an interesting how they are flattening this with doing more and more cars, which in the end of the day will give us so much of profitability. Now obviously, you know, we see also the production of the Model 3 and Y 60% up, which was fantastic. Obviously 4% still a little bit more than last year for the S and X, but I think, you know, there must be something happening with the Model S and X to sell more cars, because, you know, there's just this, people want to have always the newest stuff, and maybe some of those guys are really going now for Model Y or Model S3, so they are, you know, cannibalizing a little bit of those productions. Elon Musk even said, you know, we maybe, you know, or no, he didn't said maybe, but he said, I think last quarter, that they actually don't need the S and X, and they would love to produce more 3 and Ys, but, you know, then they couldn't spell the sexy product line name, which would be, you know, a shame. So further than that, Solar deployed 33% more than last year as well, and just overall the growth numbers are just fantastic. Then they are talking about the free mode Shanghai and Berlin. The Shanghai has already a 250,000 production capacity, which they are reaching here on the Model 3 production, which is amazing. They are starting to roll out, obviously, now those cars to Europe to you know, offer this on the European market or other markets around China, which is also interesting, because I think there's much more people wanting a Model a Model 3, but cannot get their hands on. I have friends here in Dubai that said, you know, I want to buy a Tesla Model 3 Performance, but I just cannot get their hands on one. So that's unfortunately that they have this long delivery times. Now, then they are talking about the autopilot, which is obviously very, very interesting, because the beta is out, and I saw some videos, guys. This car is basically driving now by itself. Okay, it's huge difference. It stays, you know, it's really interact like a real human. It sees everything. It stops. It looks basically left and right by those cameras. It's a really insane improvement what it have done before. Then they also, you know, flexing a little bit how fast it can go with the solar roof. At 7:30 a.m. you know, your roof is being prepared. At the noontime, they starting already to install it, and by 2 p.m. the next day we are done and dusted. So as you can see here, the full solar roof, it looks amazing. And you know, while we are talking, the stock is further going down on the overall market, that's going down here as well, as you can see. So 1% up, yeah, unfortunately, but what to do? I think it's important to understand the overall market is a little bit stressed, so you know, we shall see how this further develop over the next couple of days. Then we are seeing absolutely, you know, the volume that they still want to reach 500,000 cars. This is the target. They want to achieve it. They want to also achieve 1 million cars by next year. So this will be in double of capacity, but you know, somewhere between 840 and 500 cars will be delivered to customers by next year, which is ridiculous, guys. Okay, if you're seeing these numbers, those numbers are ridiculous. This is absolutely insane. If you are knowing that, you know, in 2019, when I invested into the stock, that, you know, we was fighting against bringing 5,000 cars ramp up of the Model 3 up into, you know, our daily life, right? So then I think that's pretty much it. Then we have some highlights of the battery day, and I mean, this is something that we talked about a lot anyway, so you know what's the deal here. And then you have some pictures of Shanghai factory going to expansion, the machine that building the machine, as you can see here. Then the paint shop in Shanghai. I don't know why they put the pictures there, just to flex a little bit. Then Berlin is looking very nice, right? So it's really having now much of the structure done, and then we can roll out some cars soon out there, right? Then we have the Texas factory as well, which is, you know, putting the pillars now inside the ground level, which is also fantastic to see this development. In the end of the day, it's not a, you know, high difficult building to build because it's just a kind of a hall, and then they put all of these things inside. So I think, it's a pretty straightforward job. But then they show us some new battery that they delivered, which was in Moss Landing. Okay. Then you see here the graphs, which I think it's quite interesting. As you can see, we are going really nicely up, with obviously the seasonality that we always have in Q1. But otherwise, look at this graph here. It's a really exponential growth here, which is unbelievable. It's really great. And from 100 cars, or a little bit less than 100,000 cars, to 140,000 cars, it's a 40-50% increase. Also, you can see here the quarters back in 2017, 18, 19 were back in red, and then we had now the 5 quarters that was positive, which was absolutely fantastic. Here you can also see vehicle deliveries, and here net income is just turned in Q1 2020. Now, so I can see a really interesting company here that is just building on a fantastic fundamental here, and I think that you should really consider, if you're not into Tesla stock yet, to make a long-term position. Now I want to go into some questions, guys. Let's have a look what the Tesla stock is, just below 1% now, and closing maybe flat for today. We don't know, right? It's going down definitely. It's not holding those 4% gains, but this is a long-term play, guys. So I don't see Tesla going, below really 400 or 390. But it's all depending on the election of the stimulus deal, right? So many uncertain things. If you like the stream, make sure to smash that like button. This is always appreciative. And so we have here people asking, Robotaxi is almost there. That's absolutely. So then there's a question about the flight. Guys, the flight window is open for space on the 22nd of October, which is today. So the test flight can be somewhere from 22nd of October until 21st of December. So remember that it's not only today. And otherwise, I think that's pretty much it. Make sure to stay tuned, check out my other content here on this channel, and I see you tomorrow morning when I make another breaking news. Thank you very much for tuning in, and stay tuned.